You know, what if I told you that the color of your eyes isn't just about looks? What if it's actually a key, like a biological passport that tells this incredible story about human migration, survival, and evolution? Okay, let's dive right in. Because, yeah, the answer is a big yes. For our ancestors, eye color wasn't some cosmetic choice. It was a powerful adaptation, a survival tool they literally used to conquer the planet. And the whole story really starts with this one simple fact. Over 70% of the world has brown eyes. That's the original human blueprint. So everyone else, that 30% with blue, green, hazel, or gray eyes, well, you're carrying a fascinating genetic mutation that tells a whole other chapter of our story. So let's start with that original blueprint. Let's talk about the deep, rich color of brown eyes, which acted as the ultimate biological shield for the first humans. The secret sauce here is a pigment called melanin, but try to think of it less as just a color and more as a function. It's basically a natural high-performance sunscreen that nature built right into our eyes. And wow, is it effective. The huge concentration of melanin in brown eyes can absorb up to 90% of the light that hits the eye. Now, for early humans living under a brutal equatorial sun, this was an absolute game changer. So you can see how brown eyes offered this massive survival advantage. They gave us a built-in shield against nasty UV radiation and cut down on glare, which meant clearer, more stable vision in that intense daylight. It's exactly why brown eyes are still the dominant trait in populations living near the equator today. But then, something totally dramatic happened. As humans started to move away from the equator, a single genetic event happened that would, no exaggeration, change the face of humanity forever. This is honestly one of the most amazing facts in all of human genetics. Every single person on this planet with blue eyes can trace their family tree back to one common ancestor who lived somewhere between 6,000 and 10,000 years ago. One person, one tiny mutation. So here's what happened. This mutation occurred in a gene called HERK2. Now, it didn't create a new color. It basically acted like a light switch, just turning off the body's ability to produce brown melanin in the iris. And as our ancestors migrated from around the Black Sea into northern Europe, this new trait just spread like wildfire. And here's the really mind-bending part. Blue eyes aren't actually blue. I know, it sounds weird. There's zero blue pigment in the human iris. Because there's so little melanin, the fibers in the iris just scatter the shorter blue wavelengths of light back out, while absorbing the longer ones. It is the exact same reason the sky looks blue. And get this mutation for blue eyes probably evolved even before the gene for lighter skin did. So this brings us to a huge mystery that still has scientists buzzing. I mean, for thousands and thousands of years, every human had brown eyes. So how did this brand new, unpigmented eye color get so successful so fast, especially up in Northern Europe? Right now, there are two main theories, and it's a pretty lively debate. The first is a low light advantage. The idea is that by letting more light into the eye, blue eyes might have actually improved vision during those long, dark northern winters. The second theory? Sexual selection. The thinking here is that this new, rare color was just so striking and different that it became a super desirable trait in a mate, which would have put its spread into overdrive. Okay, so beyond the big two, brown and blue, a whole spectrum of other colors started to pop up. And these are the really rare hues, each one with its own unique genetic recipe and evolutionary tale. And when I say rare, I mean really rare. Green eyes are only found in about 2% of people on Earth. Gray eyes? Less than 3%. And hazel eyes are only in about 5% of the population. These aren't just small variations, they're total genetic marvels. So what makes them so special? It's their complex makeup. Green eyes, which are so often linked with mystery, need this perfect, precise balance of some melanin and a yellow pigment called lipochrome. Gray eyes have even less melanin than blue eyes, which causes a different kind of light scattering and has led to them being associated with wisdom. Then you have hazel eyes. With their amazing chameleon-like ability to shift color, they have their own special mix of melanin and lipochrome. And finally, you've got amber eyes, where a whole lot of lipochrome creates this stable, solid golden color. All right, and while we're on the topic, let's just bust a really common myth. True black eyes, they don't actually exist in humans. What we see as black is really just an iris that is packed with so much brown melanin that it absorbs almost all the light that hits it. This gives you the absolute maximum protection from the sun and has led to them being culturally linked to mystery and strength. So when you start to put all these pieces together, from that original protective brown all the way to this spectrum of rare hues, you start to see this rich, colorful tapestry of the human story. And maybe nothing shows off our genetic uniqueness better than heterochromia. It affects less than 1% of people, and it's a condition where melanin just isn't distributed evenly. The result is this beautiful disruption of symmetry that some cultures historically saw as a sign of duality or even a supernatural connection. So in the end, every single eye color really represents a different survival strategy. You've got the melanin-rich shield of brown eyes that helped our ancestors cross ancient savannas, the one-time mutation for blue eyes that spread through Ice Age Europe, and that delicate balance of pigments for green and hazel. Each one is a chapter in our shared history book. And that's really the big takeaway here. The next time you look someone in the eyes, or even just look at yourself in the mirror, remember this: you're not just seeing a color. You're seeing thousands of years of survival, of adaptation, and the incredible genetic lottery that made you exactly who you are.